Okay, so we were going through chapter number 3 of Commerce 3, that is related to organizing. And we know that organizing is again one of the function which is followed means by the planning word. The planning is something which is related to decide for the future, right? So whatever you are deciding now, you are going to get effect in future, but in between you have to organize the things to implement the plan. So over here, this organizing requires a process, and we have learned this process under various stages. These are the stages like defining the organizational goals, identifying activities to achieve the goals. Whatever goals you are framing in step number 1, you have to define or you have to identify the activities which you have to perform to achieve those goals. And then after identifying the activities, you need to group these activities. You have to give one category, category 1, category 2, category 3. So whatever activities you are planning in step number 2, all these activities should be grouped together in certain categories, so that you can have a good control on them. After grouping the activities, now you have to make the arrangement of resources. Resources are of three kinds: human resources, which is related to your staff; financial resources means your money; and physical resources means the infrastructure, the machines, the technology, the processes, whatever you are using are called as physical resources. So you have to make the arrangement. If you feel that there is shortage of staff, you appoint new staff. If you feel the money is not available or the sufficient funds are not there, you have to raise the fund. Or if you feel that there is need to improve the infrastructure, you have to improve that, and you have to see that the new technique is available in your organization. After that, you have to define the authority, because now you are entering into the new kind of venture where you have to achieve the new goals. So new goals requires the new authorities and responsibilities. So over here, you have to define the authority, that what to delegate. That means when you are going to transfer your authority, what kind of authority you should delegate, whom it should be delegated, and how much. That means, if you are giving the entire authority, then you will be losing your own value. So you have to be very careful when you are transferring your authority to your juniors. Then after that, delegating the authority, after defining the authority, means you have to find out the answers for all these questions. Then later on, you have to actually delegate the authority to your juniors. And then establishing superior subordinate relationship. Until and unless there is no good superior and subordinate relationship, you will not be able to achieve your goals. So over here, there are two things. In establishing superior subordinate relationship means you have to maintain good relation, of course, but at the same time, you have to explain to the subordinates that who are their superiors, to whom they are responsible, and who will be their subordinates where they can command. That means you are defining both the things. And then provision of coordination. You have to bring coordination in your organization, because coordination is the essence of management. Until and unless you are not having good coordination in your organization, you will never get the success. Your goals will not be achieved. So over here, you have to bring the provision of coordination. Now, why I have repeated this entire question? Because this is very important. And every now and then, the questions from this particular part used to be asked. Now, that is very important part of our entire the content or the module. Now, today we are going to understand regarding certain types of organizational structures or organization. The first and the most common type of organizational structure is line organization structure. As far as this line organization structure is concerned, this line organization structure is also called as scalar organization structure. Scalar. Scalar means where you are following the scale. And when we talk about the scale, that means we are talking about the measurement. You're talking about the gap, that is called as scalar. So line organization structure is the structure where we are following a simple line to define the authority as well as responsibility. Now, the structure which you are seeing on the screen is an example of line organization structure. Here you can see that we are having the first authority as managing director, who is the example of top level manager. Then after that, we are having production manager. He is the example, or the production manager is the example of middle level manager. Then we have plant superintendent or the supervisors. These are lower level or low level management. And these are the foremen. Foremen means the workers, those who are working under plant superintendent. So this is a very simplest form of organization structure, which is generally applied by the small scale organization. And this particular structure is explaining who is the superior and who is the subordinate. So for example, if I ask you, who is the superior of plant superintendent? Who is the superior of plant superintendent? Your answer should be production manager, right? Production manager is a superior and plant superintendent is a subordinate. So for example, if you are getting job in this organization and the authority or the designation which has been given to you, it is plant superintendent. In your appointment order, they have written that your designation is plant superintendent. Then when you refer this organization structure, immediately you will come to know that who will be your superior and who will be your subordinate. So plant superintendent is having these subordinates: foreman shop 1, foreman shop B, foreman shop C. So whatever orders you want to give, you can give to them because they will obey your order, because for them you are the superior. And you have to accept orders or commands from production manager. Production manager will be giving you the work, right? And then you are responsible to submit your work done or your information to him. Directly, you cannot talk to managing director. If you have any complaint or if you want to fix any meeting with managing director, then you have to go through production manager, because there is a hierarchy. There is order. Hierarchy means the order. Here we are following the order. So managing director can talk directly to production manager. Production manager can directly talk to plant superintendent, and plant superintendent can talk to these foremen. Okay. So this is called as line organization structure, which is very simple to understand because we are following a simple line to describe the superior and subordinate relationship. Now over here, there are some advantages. Number one advantage, it is very simple to understand. Second advantage, it is very easy to follow this because easily you can understand who is your superior and who are your subordinates. Then there will be unity of command. If you remember, we were discussing regarding 14 principles of management. There was one principle called as unity of command. Unity of command means you are receiving the orders from one person, because that will avoid the confusion. If you are receiving orders from 2-3 people from your superior the authorities, then that will create confusion for you. But line organization structure, very clearly it is explaining that who is your boss. And let us say if there are two bosses, like this plant superintendent is having two bosses, then plant superintendent will ask that from whom I have to receive the orders. Means to avoid the confusion, he can ask that, and then the reply will be given that who is his real boss and who, to whom he is not responsible for that. So this line organization structure is very clear, very simple. It is applicable for the small scale organization. There is a unity of command as well as there is a unity of direction. So control can be made on all these activities, because you know that who is responsible for what. So when you are giving the authority along with the responsibility, then everybody will be working accordingly. Nobody will be misuse their authority and nobody will get frustrated also because of the responsibility, because you are giving the same amount of authority as well as responsibility. So this particular structure is a perfect structure, but at the same time, it is having one disadvantage, that is lack of specialization. Because all these people are working as per their own knowledge, whatever they have. There is no other person to help them out, right? And at the same time, this is applicable only for small scale organization. So to remove these two disadvantages, that is a lack of specialization and applicability to small scale organization or non applicability to large scale organization, we have one more line and staff organization structure. As far as this line and staff organization structure is concerned, here we are having combination of two things. Now here, if you see, we are having executive officer, then there is line. Now this line is divided under three categories: marketing manager, production manager, finance manager. So we can say that this chief executive officer is at the top level, he is the top level manager. These are the middle level managers. Then after that, we have foreman, workers. They are at the lower level. So here, if you forget or if you ignore these two things, right? These two things, we will come later on. You may see that there is line organization, right? This is a line organization, scalar organization. Now, as I told you, that line organization structure is suffering from one disadvantage, that is lack of specialization. So many a times, these line managers, these all are called as line managers because they are under the line organization structure. These line managers, they require some special kind of suggestions under some special situations. Let us say some situation has come which requires lot of planning, lot of data collection, and the proper allocation or analysis of the information so that the proper planning can be done and the proper decisions can be made. So that is the extra work: collection of information, analysis of the information, framing the plan, and then making a decision. So that extra work is to be done by some special people. These line managers may not be expert in collection of data. They may be very good workers. They are working for the organization. They think day and night about the organization, but they are not the experts. They are not the having the specialized knowledge for one particular field. So for that purpose, they need help of these people. Here are we are having example of economist and legal advisors. Economist and legal advisors. Economists are the people who can alert you that what is going to happen in future and what you need to do today so that you will be in a position to solve that problem of future. And these economists will be giving you the clear-cut idea that how much amount you are spending on production, what is your indirect cost which you are spending, how you can recover that cost by charging particular selling price. So for that, you need help of economist. You may not be aware about all these things, but the economist is aware. At the same time, many times you may need legal advices. If you want to enter into the new venture or the new agreement or the new contract, you have to have the knowledge of law. So if you don't have the thorough knowledge, you may enter into wrong agreements and wrong contract, which may make you to suffer losses in future. So for that, you may need help of legal advisors. So over here, what is happening? These line managers are taking help or support of these staff managers. This economist and legal advisors will be called as staff managers. I hope you are understanding the thing. line and staff organization structure is the structure where the line managers, who are the employees of the organization, are working with the help of staff managers who may not be the regular employees of the organization. ये जो इकोनॉमिस्ट और लीगल एडवाइजर है, शायद ये आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के रेगुलर एम्प्लॉयज नहीं होंगे, ये एक्सपर्ट्स हैं, इनकी अपनी अपनी ऑफिसेस होंगी। तो जब इन लाइन मैनेजर्स को कोई परेशानी होती है, कोई प्रॉब्लम आ जाती है जहां पे उनको लगता है कि हमारा डिसीजन सही नहीं होगा, तो ये लोग इन लोगों का सपोर्ट लेते हैं, इन लोगों का हेल्प लेते हैं। ये स्पेशलाइज्ड लोग हैं, तो इनको स्पेशल फीस पे की जाती है। So these staff managers are helping the line managers in collection of information, in analyzing of information, and to give them the proper planning that what are the things that they have to do. And finally, the decisions are taken by line managers. Right? ये आपको ऑब्जेक्टिव्स में पूछा जाएगा. In case of line and staff organizational structure, who are the decision makers? Decision कौन लेता है फाइनली? योर आंसर शुड बी लाइन मैनेजर्स। ये जो लाइन मैनेजर्स है ना, जो हमारे ऑफिस में ही काम करते हैं, जैसे चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर, सीईओ, ये सारे मैनेजर्स जो हैं हमारे, मार्केटिंग मैनेजर, प्रोडक्शन मैनेजर, फाइनेंस मैनेजर, एंड देन फोरमैन वर्कर्स, ये सब हमारे ऑफिस के लोग हैं, इनको कहा जाता है लाइन मैनेजर्स। पर क्योंकि कई जगहों पे ये लोग अपना डिसीजन ऐसे नहीं ले पाते हैं, इनको बहुत सारी इंफॉर्मेशन की जरूरत पड़ती है, एक्सपर्टाइज नॉलेज की जरूरत पड़ती है, तो ये लोग स्टाफ मेंबर्स का हेल्प लेते हैं। Now here this particular type of structure, of course it is going to give you the lot of information or the expertise, knowledge and all, but this structure is applicable for the large scale organization. Large scale line organization structure is the oldest form and the simplest form, but that is applicable only for small scale organization. You cannot apply the line organization structure in a large scale organization. एक बहुत बड़ा organization में आप directly line organization structure follow नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि उसमें कई सारी खामियां हैं, बहुत सारे disadvantages हैं. So you have to go for line and staff organization structure, where you are having the help of even the staff. These staff managers may not be your regular employees. मैं वर्ड अप्लाई कर रहा हूं, मे नॉट बी, हो सकता है कि आप अपॉइंट कर भी लो, कई बार ऐसा होता है ना। अगर आपने सपोज एलएलबी कर लिया, आपके पास थरो नॉलेज है लॉ का, तो एक पोस्ट है कंपनीज में, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज सॉलिसिटर्स पोस्ट। सॉलिसिटर एक लीगल टाइटल है। सॉलिसिटर मींस द लीगल एडवाइजर। लीगल एडवाइजर, आपको उस कंपनी में और कुछ काम नहीं रहेगा, आपका काम है उनको लीगल एडवाइसेस देना और मंथली आपकी सैलरी मिल जाना। बट यू आर नॉट द डिसीजन मेकर, आप डिसीजन मेकर नहीं है, आप खाली अपनी सजेशंस देंगे, आइडियाज देंगे, अलग अलग एंगल्स बताएंगे कि लॉ में क्या क्या दिया है और क्या फायदा हम उठा सकते हैं। सो यू विल नॉट बी द डिसीजन मेकर। हु विल बी द डिसीजन मेकर? These will be the line managers who are going to take the decisions. So यहाँ पे दो तरह के मैनेजर्स आ गए, एक है लाइन मैनेजर्स और दूसरे कौन है? स्टाफ मैनेजर्स। तो जब दो टाइप के मैनेजर एक ही ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में आ जाते हैं, तो इनके बीच में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होना बहुत ही नॉर्मल बात है, और ऐसा होता भी है। सो नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस रिगार्डिंग certain features of line and staff organization, जहां पे एक दो बार वो प्रॉब्लम की बात आ जाएगी। So let us understand what are the important features. Number one is specialization. Of course, when you are going to have the staff or the staff members who are expertise in their own field, you are going to have the benefit of specialization. And once you are having benefit of specialization, your decisions will never go wrong, because you are getting the idea from the expert who is having the specialized knowledge in the particular field, and that specialized knowledge is sharing with you, and based on that, whatever decision you are making, all these decisions will go 100% right, and you will be able to achieve your objectives. Then the another feature is systematic planning as well as controlling. Since you are having line managers as well as staff managers, so these both the managers are preparing plan in a systematic manner. In our chapter number 2, we have discussed the stages, how the plan is made under the 9 stages, like the analysis of internal environment, then external environment, then framing the objectives. That is a proper way of making a plan or a systematic way of plan. And when you are following a systematic way of planning, easily you can control on that. आपको ये पता चलेगा कि आपने कहाँ पे गलती किया है अगर आपने सिस्टमैटिक प्लान बनाया है तो. So when you are having line and staff organization structure for your own firm, you can have this benefit, systematic planning and controlling. Why systematic planning? Because there are staff managers who are going to help you to make a proper plan by collecting the correct data. जो डेटा की जरूरत है वो डेटा कलेक्ट करने के बाद ही आपको प्लानिंग के बारे में सजेशंस दिए जाते हैं. सो योर plan is always and always systematic, and at the same time you can have control also on the activities. Then the next characteristic is sound decision. This already we have discussed. Sound decisions means the correct decision which are going to give you benefit. So if you are having specialized staff, when you are having systematic planning and controlling, 100% your decisions will be sound always, which are going to give you benefit or success. Then suitability. This particular structure is suitable for large scale organization, because in large scale organization, there are many line managers. There are many. And when you are having many line managers, you may require some sort of expertise knowledge from outside. There is need to support them. When your line is quite large or quite long, then it requires some support. If you are not providing them support, then there may be clash among their own staff members. There may be some confusion or misunderstanding. So to avoid that, you have to have the line and staff organization structure. So it is suitable for large scale organization. Then the next characteristic is crisis management. As far as the word crisis is concerned, crisis means very difficult situation, or the situation which requires the quick decisions or the correct decisions, whatever you call that, crisis management. So when the difficult times comes, there is a need for the specialized people, right? If you are if you don't know swimming and you are you are sinking in one particular pool and all, then one person who may be knowing the swimming may save you. Similarly, when your organization is going from the crisis, it's going from the suffering from some difficulties, then experts will come and they will help you to come out from the problem. For example, you have made some wrong decisions, and because of that you have lost your money. We are talking about one company where money has been collected from the investors. That money has been invested in some project, and unfortunately that project was wrong project, your decision was wrong, and money has been drawn. Money आपका जो है वो डूब गया. Now that money belongs to your investors. You are only the decision maker. Obviously, these investors will take action against you. They will file a case against you that you have taken the wrong decision, and there are chances you may lose your job and all. So what you can do, that you have to somehow come out from that problem. The project where you have invested money, let us say if that project was wrong, somehow you try to collect your money back. And for that, you need help of some experts who may be having the financial knowledge, how to recover money or how to spread that particular risk. So these are financial advisors. They will guide you. Okay, now your decision was wrong. You have invested money in the wrong project. Now these are the various ways how we can collect our money back. So you are taking help of these staff members, and they will help you to come out from the problem. That is called as crisis management. In your difficult times, these staff members will help you to come out from the problem. And if you are having only line managers, then you have to suffer from losses, because there are no people who are going to save you from the losses which you are suffering. Then the next is authority and responsibility. Now here there is problem, because what we studied, that all the authorities of making decisions are in the hands of whom? Line managers. And many times it has been found that line managers, they make use of authority, but when the situation comes to take the responsibilities, they shift that responsibility on the staff members or the staff managers. अगर कोई डिसीजन रॉन्ग हो गया, तो सबसे पहले क्वेश्चन उठता है लाइन मैनेजर्स के ऊपर, क्योंकि उन्होंने डिसीजन लिया था। पर बड़ी सफाई से लाइन मैनेजर्स क्या करते हैं, अपना जो भी दोष है, जो भी उनके ऊपर ब्लेम है, वो सारा का सारा स्टाफ मैनेजर्स के ऊपर लगा देते हैं कि उन्होंने हमें ये सजेशन दिया, उन्होंने ये इंफॉर्मेशन दिया, तो हमने ये डिसीजन ले लिया। तो वो साफ साफ बच जाते हैं। तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है लाइन एंड स्टाफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में। इसको भी सॉल्व करने के लिए और तरीके हैं जो आपके टॉप अथॉरिटीज यूज करते हैं, बट फॉर द टाइम बिंग यू हैव टू कीप वन थिंग इन माइंड, that in case of line and staff organization, the authority is in the hands of the line managers to make the decision. But if the decision goes wrong and the responsibilities come easily and very, quickly, line managers, they transfer the responsibility to the staff managers by saying that they only have given this suggestion. So that is actually the characteristic, or you can say it is a disadvantage, but it is there as a characteristic. Then conflicts. Conflicts, many a times the staff managers who are having the expert knowledge, they are giving some suggestions which are not practically applicable by the line managers. Sometimes they give some kind of suggestions like that. For example, I'm your teacher, and let us say you are coming with the problem that, sir, I have not done anything in business law, I'm not able to understand that particular subject, what to do for that. Then what I will suggest, I will suggest you from my angle. No, I will say you, why you are waking up very late? You wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, take bath and get fresh, then for 2 hours you study business law, then you attend all the lectures, then after the lectures again you start writing the answers. So whatever suggestions I am giving you, you may feel that अरे क्या क्या सजेशन दे रहा है, सुबह 5 बजे से लेके शाम 5 बजे तक मैं पढ़ता रहूंगा तो मैं तो बीमार पड़ जाऊंगा, इतना कौन पढ़ाई करेगा, that you will think. But according to me, that is the only solution for you to improve. So you can imagine, if I am the staff manager who is giving you suggestion which you as a line manager are not ready to accept it, because you may be having your own practical problem which I am not aware. आपके अपने कुछ पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम्स होंगे जो मुझे नहीं पता है, तो मैंने आपको सजेशन दे दिया. द सेम थिंग इज हैपनिंग बिटवीन लाइन मैनेजर एंड स्टाफ मैनेजर्स. Line managers are having the practical knowledge, staff managers may give you the suggestions that, see, these are the suggestions which you have to follow, but the line manager actually knows that when I'm going to follow this suggestion, it may give me the wrong the result. I will not be able to achieve my objectives. So the conflict happens, इनके बीच में झगड़ा हो जाता है. Line managers are saying that अरे तुम लोगों को क्या पता है कि प्रैक्टिकल काम क्या होता है, you are sitting in the AC offices and you are just giving us the suggestions. You come at one day, you come in my cabin and you see that how many problems I'm facing. Even at the night also, I'm getting so many phone calls. You people are just giving the suggestion. So this is how the conflict happens. दोनों के बीच में झगड़ा होता है. क्यों झगड़ा होता है? क्योंकि दोनों की लाइन ही डिफरेंट है. स्टाफ मैनेजर्स को क्या लगता है कि ये डिसीजन जो है ये सही है, ये लोग नाटक कर रहे हैं, इनको आता नहीं है काम करने. फिर लाइन मैनेजर क्या बोलेंगे, इनको क्या पता कि प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम्स क्या होते हैं, ये तो अपने एसी ऑफिस में बैठ के हमें सलाह दे रहे हैं. So that is a conflict which is coming, or a very common thing in the line and staff organization structure. Then over dependence on staff, ये भी एक बहुत बड़ी बात है. When the line managers, they start getting the support from the staff managers, they become over dependent on them. That means if anything happens, if they need any kind of suggestion or any kind of planning, if they require, they depend on staff. For every small things, they make a call to them and they ask their suggestion. So that is over dependence of staff. That should not happen, but that is happening when line and staff organization is there. Then shifting of responsibility, that already I have told you, that whenever decision goes wrong, then the responsibility is getting shifted. Blame game खेलते हैं. Line managers कहते हैं, staff managers have given us the wrong idea, so we have taken the wrong decision. Then staff managers say that we have given them correct information, these people have taken wrong decisions. We told them, we have giving them the warning also. So this the blame game is going on, और money जाता है investors का. तो ये भी बड़ी common problem है यहाँ पे. Okay, so I think line organization structure is clear to you. Is it clear? Both the things, line organization and line and staff. Okay, so with this, I just stop sharing the screen. We shall continue with the matrix organization in our next video.